Hi, welcome. This is Nikki Sparks again from Take Turns, and this is episode 1 of Turn for Help. And I wanted to start this new series because I saw a big need in the community and around the world for help in regards to depression and anxiety, specifically with a group of girls from my school. And I thought if all these girls could use my help and we could use each other's help, then maybe people around the world could also benefit from this type of help. And I want to make this clear, this isn't medical advice, and I also want to make it clear that sometimes maybe medical advice isn't as helpful because you're taking it from someone that's learned how to deal with you from teachers and a textbook. Now, where I come in is I have suffered from depression and anxiety since I was a little girl, practically probably since I was born and just didn't know it. And I'm using my own personal experiences to help you guys find out ways to help yourself from someone who's actually living the real deal. Now, I'm including this in Take Turns channel because I got into music because I wanted to help people. And music was such a great outlet for me that it caused me to find ways of dealing with my depression and anxiety by talking about it, by writing lyrics, writing in a journal, or if I wasn't in that kind of emotional state, I could just zone out, get on the decks, and spin some of my favorite songs. And I really got lost, by getting so soaked into the music, and everything else that I was dealing with just suddenly went away. So basically with this series, I want to do a couple episodes throughout the next few months and see how this goes. But I realize depression and anxiety aren't the only types of mental health issues we do deal with in society. And what's so great about Take Turns is Jacob also deals with another form of anxiety and issues in mental health. And his relate to his experience with ADHD as a kid and how he was medicated and how he's dealing with that now and how music has helped him. So I'd like to go on and say that we will have future episodes that will include other types of issues that we can possibly expand on to help the larger community. And this is going to be so great because, like I said, it's going to be our own personal experiences in life. And so, it wasn't always easy for me. And I know you can look at me right now and you see, well, she's a decent looking girl, looks like she has a decent living situation, a decent amount of money, she travels around the world, she graduated from college, this and that. But I don't want you to think just because of the way I look or what I brought into that it's any different. I mean, look at all these celebrities that are going into rehab and committing suicide. I mean, these people you would think have everything in the world. They're beautiful, they've got money, but it's never enough. And that's why it doesn't matter how poor or rich, if you're a girl or a guy or where you come from, we all deal with depression and anxiety, and it doesn't matter how much you have. You will face these issues and you can't face them alone. So for me, I used to think, well, maybe I'm depressed because of what I've been through. And now given just because you've been through something, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily depressed, but it could actually, if you are depressed, lead to further depression. So, for example, I was an only child to my parents later on in life when they were older. So my dad was looking for a place to retire. So I didn't grow up with brothers and sisters. I was kind of forced to move around my whole life. So I was really shy, and I guess moving around made me come out of my shyness, but the issues were that I didn't have a choice. So anytime I would get comfortable with the people I was around or meet new friends or, feel comfortable with what I was doing in school, my parents would move me. So that didn't help me so much having to move. And then because I started moving towards my preteen years, I started to experience what it was like to be the person on the outside, because I would be the new girl. So I would get severely teased, and I'm not saying that like it had all to do with school or anything. I also had issues with my family, because I think, you know, the way we deal with each other wasn't the best way to talk to each other or deal with our problems. But I think that maybe genetically we may have a history of mental health issues ourselves. And so, along with the mental health issues of depression, anxiety from school, and other things I didn't know about myself, our family also has anger issues that went along with that, that didn't make growing up very easy. And so, once I got to where I am now, it took a lot to get here. And in my family, we were always the type of people that really like viewed things sometimes negatively instead of positively. And so I grew up kind of a really negative person, and it wasn't till I dated my last ex-boyfriend that I really realized, hey, I'm getting older. Hey, this isn't normal. If I continue to go at the pace I'm going to go, I'm never going to be able to get further in life. And I just didn't want my mental illness holding me back from future relationships, future careers, and long-lasting friendships. Just missing out on things that maybe I felt that came easier for normal people. And now that I'm seeing that my friends are getting married and moving on in their careers, it's not that I need to rush to be like them. It's that I could have been there if that's what I wanted. Had I been able to seek help sooner, or realize that just because I'm feeling negative, depressed, or I'm having all these anxiety and feelings, that I can't, enjoy the same things that everyone else has. So I think that's really where my life turned around, is when I finally had a nursing job after years. I graduated from college. I was finally ready to move on with my career, but my ex and I broke up, and then my dad got cancer, and then that caused me to get into drugs and all these things that were negative for me, to where I started losing my jobs, and I came to like a rock bottom, and I realized I need to get help. And so I watched a video. I finally did. My ex told me to watch it for years. It was called The Secret. It's on Netflix. They also write a book about it. And it basically put into perspective that, wow, I've really come to a rock bottom, but it's because I was feeling so negative. And if I could just change some things into positive, then wow, maybe I could get a lot further. And so I did that, and I watched a couple self-help videos, and I have always been, I guess you could say, a raver. I go to a lot of music festivals. I had been doing that for years, and that was kind of my outlet. And at the time, I was going a lot, and my ex had gotten a Pioneer DJ setup for Christmas one year. So I got into that, and I really found that having an outlet like music or some other hobby that excites you, that gives you a reason to get up in the morning, was really beneficial to me getting better. And so that's when I realized, well, if something like this, it's not nursing, it's not what I graduated with, there's no proven fact that I can become rich and famous, but it makes me feel better. It gives me a reason to get up in the morning, and I know I'm helping people as well as self-helping myself. Then why can't I do it as a career? And why do I have to do what society tells me? So it's all about really what these videos are going to do, It's all about what drives you, what makes you happy, what's going to keep you positive, what's your reason. And definitely you've got to do it for yourself. You can't do it for your parents or your friends. You've got to do what feels good for you, and it's different for everyone, and you've got to find it, and you've got to want it, and you've got to want it more than anything else, because you're fighting something in your brain that you have no control of. It may be scientifically researched, a chemical imbalance. We're all born with these genetic disabilities, and the only way out is having power over it. And I think that's what's so great about finding something that drives you and finding that passion. And my passion right now is to help you. So I really hope you like these future videos, and I'm so glad to be a part of this growing culture that we're gonna turn all this negativity around us into something positive. So I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to our first episode of Turn Around, Turn for Help. And if you think or found this video helpful, please go ahead and press like at the bottom. If you didn't like the video or wanted more or had some extra questions that you were curious about me or any of my situations, or anything that you would like to see, please post a comment first so I can hopefully either A, answer that question, or B, change your mind about clicking that dislike button. And also please tune in to take a look at all our other channels, such as our SoundCloud, Take Turns, and the other videos that we have posted on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in again. We'll see you next week.